Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
An episode of Boston-Blackie starring Dick Kollmar. This episode was originally broadcast June 11th, 1946, and it's entitled The Disappearing Plane.
Yeah?
Boston, calling Inspector Faraday.
I'm Inspector Faraday.
One moment, please. Here's your party. Go ahead, Boston.
Hello, Faraday. This is Blackie.
Blackie, what are you doing out of town?
You don't know?
I can guess. You talked me into holding John Barnes in the Bradley killing for me to make an arrest. Then you beat it out of town because you knew I didn't have enough evidence to hold him.
My, you're ungrateful, Inspector. I found out Barnes had a motive to kill Bradley, didn't I?
Yeah?
I proved Barnes had an opportunity to kill Bradley, didn't I?
Yeah.
I also found a witness who did a pretty good job of placing Barnes at the scene of Bradley's death, too, didn't I?
Yes, but you didn't clinch the case against him.
Didn't I?
No. What I need is proof that Bradley was killed with Barnes's gun. I don't have Barnes's gun.
Well, you do now, Faraday, because everything that's mine is yours, pal.
You've got the murder gun? How'd you get it, Blackie? Where?
Up here in Boston. But do you really want to know how I had to be sort of a bad boy to get it?
Forget I asked.
It's forgotten. In a few hours, Faraday, you'll have the murder gun in your own little hands, and then you can give it to Barnes right in his neck.
Blackie, be careful, will you?
Why?
Barnes's pals aren't the friendly type. They not only want to get that gun, they're going to want to get you.
And now, back to Dick Kollmar as Boston-Blackie. Enemy to those who make him an enemy. Friend to those who have no friend.
Yeah?
New York, calling Mr. Gus Johnson.
I'll take it.
Thank you. Go ahead, New York. Here's your party.
Gus,
Yeah.
this is Johnny. Johnny Barnes.
Oh, yeah, Johnny.
Just checking. You went to Boston to get rid of that gun of mine. Did you do it?
Yeah, I got rid of it. The hard way. It was stolen about an hour ago. I was gonna call you.
Stolen? Who stole it?
Guess who?
Boston-Blackie.
Yeah. I figured on trouble from him when I heard he followed me here to Boston. By the time I got back to the hotel, he'd already swiped the gun.
Where's Blackie now?
At his hotel. I got Joe trailing him. That was his last report.
Well, get up there and get back that gun.
I can't, Johnny. It's too late.
Look, you want me to go to the chair?
Of course not.
Well, I will if you don't find that gun. The cops know I hit it, Bradley. They know plenty more, too, but they need that gun to prove I knocked him off.
I know.
Then get it back from Blackie. It's registered in my name, and ballistics will prove it was the gun that killed Bradley. If the cops get that gun, I'm finished.
What am I to do, Johnny? Blackie sent the gun to Faraday. Air mail.
What?
Joe was watching him. He couldn't do anything about it. Too many people around.
Oh. It's in the mail to Faraday now, huh?
Yep.
Gus, I got an idea. And you're just the guy who can make it work.
Say, Miss Wesley, what time did that wire say Blackie's plane was getting in?
3 o'clock, Shorty.
Gee, 3 o'clock, huh? Gosh, we're a little late getting there, ain't we?
Yes, a little. I wish we'd started earlier. I'd like to have seen his plane come in.
Yeah, me too. But not because I think planes is pretty.
Oh? Well, then why, Shorty?
Well, didn't Blackie's telegram say he got the gun Johnny Barnes used to kill that Bradley guy?
Oh, no. He told me that on the phone.
Well, Blackie's gonna need protection from the minute he gets off that plane. I know a couple of the Barnes mob, and they ain't forgiving characters. But they're gonna be awful sore at Blackie when Barnes gets sent to the chair.
Yes, I'm afraid you're right. And when Inspector Faraday gets Barnes' gun, Barnes is as good as convicted, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, here's the airport. Yeah. Where do we park?
Well, let's see. Why don't you drive right up to the administration building? We're late, and Blackie's probably waiting for us inside.
Okay. Hey, how about here?
That's fine. Want to come in with me?
Yeah, sure. I'll get out on your side.
All right. I think we can go in that door there.
Okay. Hey, wait. I'll open the door for you.
Thank you.
Being at gate 6, all aboard.
Big joint this is.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Cincinnati and Chicago.
I don't see Blackie anywhere, though, do you?
No, I don't.
Well, maybe his plane's late. Let's ask at the information desk.
Okay.
Flight 31 for Washington, Cincinnati, and Chicago, leaving at gate 6, all aboard.
Well, here's the information desk, Miss Wesley.
Oh, yes. Pardon me, but could I have some information?
Yes, ma'am.
Has the plane from Boston arrived yet?
Flight 68?
Oh, excuse me. Yes, of course. Flight 68.
No, ma'am. Flight 68 is late, but we expect it soon. Gate 3.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gee, Miss Wesley, shall we go out to gate 3 and watch it come in?
No, Shorty. You can see if we wait here and watch through that big window there.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look at that big four-motor job taking off out there.
Yes, I see it. But I'm more interested in seeing Blackie's plane come in.
Hey, Miss Wesley, you ain't worried because Blackie's plane is late, are you?
I don't know, Shorty. It's just that I have a funny feeling.
Oh, Miss Wesley, planes have been late before. Why, sometimes maybe an hour late. They have a flat tire or they get stuck on a sticky cloud
Look, Shorty,
or something.
Inspector Faraday's just come in.
Flight 41
Gosh, wonder what he's doing.
I don't know, but he sees us.
Gosh, you don't think maybe something's gone wrong, huh?
Well, I don't know.
Wesley. Hello, Shorty.
Hello, Inspector. What are you here for?
What do you think I'm here for? To meet a train?
Well, you're here to meet Blackie too, Inspector Faraday?
Yeah. How'd you know?
Flight
Oh,
41
I'm just
leaving
smart, I guess.
You smart? Bad guess.
All aboard.
Isn't Blackie's plane in yet?
No, Inspector, it's late.
I might have known. Blackie's probably telling the pilot how to fly. What plane's Blackie on?
Flight 68.
Flight 68, huh? Now, it'll be just like Blackie to keep that plane up, so I'll have to wait for hours. While I'm waiting, come in, Flight 68.
Tom, any word from Flight 68?
Not a peep for the last 5 hours, Harry.
Not a peep, huh? Doesn't seem possible. 4 hours overdue on a flight of an hour and 10 minutes. Have you kept checking?
Every 5 minutes?
Well, try again, Tom.
Okay. New York calling Cross Nation Airways, Flight 68. New York calling Cross Nation Airways, Flight 68. Flight 68, come in. Flight 68, come in. Come in.
Hold it, Tom. Anything?
Nothing.
When did you last hear?
10 minutes out of Boston. Pilot radioed an okay. Said he was on the beam.
And not a word since?
Not a word.
Well, we got a lost plane then, Tom. He's out of gas and down somewhere by now. But keep trying to make contact. We may...
Any word from Flight 68 yet?
Say, nobody's allowed in the control tower, and that means you, too.
I'm Inspector Faraday, police.
Oh, sorry, Inspector.
Skip it. Any word from Flight 68?
No, she's 4 hours overdue, and that means she's down somewhere out of gas.
Or maybe worse.
Yeah, I think so, too, except we haven't had a report of any crash.
You mean the plane's just disappeared?
So far it has.
Look, let me see that passenger list. There's something crazy about this.
Yeah, the passenger list is the craziest thing about the whole flight, Inspector.
What do you mean?
Well, Flight 68 is a 21-passenger ship. 20 reservations were canceled at the last minute.
Huh?
That's right. So the plane left Boston with only one passenger.
One passenger? Who?
A man by the name of Boston-blackie.
Flight 27 for Los
Gosh,
Angeles.
Miss Wesley, why don't they put cushions on the seats in this place?
Shorty,
We
here
have to
comes
wait.
Inspector Faraday. Maybe he has word about Blackie's plane.
Gee, he looks awful sick, Miss Wesley.
Yes, he does, doesn't he? What is it, Inspector?
I'm afraid I got bad news for you, Miss Wesley. Looks as if Flight 68 has had an accident.
Oh, no,
Gee.
no,
And Blackie was on it, Miss Wesley.
Oh.
The only passenger.
Here, Miss Wesley. Maybe you better sit down, huh?
No, it's all right. Did I hear my name?
Yeah, phone call, Miss Wesley.
You want me to take it?
No, I'll get it myself. The information desk is right over here. I'll get it.
Oh, we'll go with you, Miss Wesley.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, all right, maybe you better.
Here we are. This is Miss Wesley. She'll take that call.
Oh, yes, right here, ma'am.
Thank you. Hello?
Hello, Mary?
Blackie!
Blackie?
Oh, Blackie, where are you?
In my apartment. You obviously didn't get my second wire.
Oh, no, darling, I didn't.
My plane reservation was canceled, no flight, so I wired you and took the train.
You took the train, but Inspector Faraday was told you were on that plane.
Faraday, is he there?
Yes, he's right here.
Let me talk to him.
All right. Here, Inspector, he wants to talk to you.
Thanks.
Oh, Shorty's all right.
Blackie, what's the idea? I thought you were dead.
Well, that's about as accurately as you usually think, Faraday.
Well, what else could I think? That plane you were going to take has disappeared. You're listed as a passenger, the only passenger.
Well, that's crazy, Faraday. The airline told me the plane wasn't even going to fly.
Well, it did fly, and carrying one passenger who called himself Boston-Blackie, it vanished into thin air. You meet me in my office, Blackie. I got a hunch you can explain this, and I think you'd better.
June 11th, 1946, Boston-Blackie on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medishare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medishare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medishare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Boston-Blackie, June 11th, 1946, The Disappearing Plane.
And now back to Boston-Blackie. John Barnes kills a man named Bradley and gives the gun to a friend, Gus Johnson, to get rid of in Boston. Blackie trails Johnson to Boston, steals the gun from him, and mails it to Inspector Faraday, thereby sealing Barnes' fate as a killer, and wires Mary Wesley that he is en route by plane. But the plane, supposedly carrying Blackie, disappears into thin air. Actually, Blackie has come back to the city by train, and as we return to our story, he is in Faraday's office, trying to solve the mystery of the missing plane.
A plane just doesn't disappear, Faraday. Apparently you've been reading too many spook stories, and I haven't. So getting me down here was just a waste of time.
All right, Blackie. If that plane hasn't disappeared, you tell me where it is.
It's down somewhere, forced landing with the radio dead, or maybe it crashed.
No good. They told me at the airport, if the plane was down or crashed, they'd have a report almost immediately. They don't have a report yet, and the plane is now 8 hours overdue.
Let me see now. I got a call from the airline in Boston about an hour before plane time. The man said my flight was canceled. They'd send for my ticket right away and give me another one later.
Uh-huh.
So a bellboy came up for my ticket, and I gave it to him. Then, instead of waiting for the next plane, I took the train.
What does that explain?
It explains why I wasn't on the plane. And I have a hunch that I was called not by the airline, but by Johnny Barnes' pal, Gus Johnson. And he took that plane in my place.
Why?
I think this is why. He saw me send the gun to you, airmail. Then he found out a package mailed at that time would leave Boston on Flight 68.
Uh-huh.
He had to get that gun out of the mail. But that was impossible, so he did the next best thing. He stole the plane.
He stole the plane?
Sure. Because when he stole the plane, he also stole the gun. I'm sure that's what happened.
Well, maybe so. But does that explain why the 20 other passengers on Flight 68 canceled their reservations at the last minute?
Sure it does. It was decided for them the same way it was decided for me. Faraday, the whole thing is beginning to make sense now.
Yeah, but it's only theory.
Get on the phone to Boston, and I think you'll find out it's all fact.
Well, I intend to. But I'm not as interested in that missing plane as I am in that missing gun. How can I convict Barnes without it?
You can't, Faraday. You know it, I know it, and Barnes knows it.
Well, that makes 3 of us all in agreement. Aren't we clever?
I don't know. I'm going to see Barnes now and find out if he's as clever as he thinks he is.
How nice of you to call on me, Blackie. You've come to console me in my trouble, of course.
Oh, I don't think you need consolation from me, Barnes. Aren't your close friends doing plenty of weeping and wailing?
Not exactly.
Look, Barnes, your pal Gus Johnson told you I sent the gun to Faraday by airmail, didn't he?
Did he?
I think he did. And I think you found out the gun was being sent on Flight 68 out of Boston. So you saw to it that Flight 68 never reached New York.
Oh, say, I just heard on the radio about that unfortunate plane. Fantastic, isn't it? It hasn't crashed, it hasn't made a forced landing, and it hasn't been heard of. Just vanished. Strange, isn't it?
I don't think it's strange at all. I think you stole that plane.
You think, That's more fantastic than the fact the plane is missing. Now, how could I steal an airplane? Why would I steal an airplane?
To get rid of that pistol. It carried evidence that would send you to the electric chair. It was one way for you to steal back your gun.
Oh, so you've lost the gun, huh, Blackie? Well, maybe you're the one that needs consoling. Please allow me to be the first to offer.
Save it, Bonds. When they start giving out consolation prizes, I think you'll get them all. Hello?
Blackie, this is Shorty.
Yes, Shorty.
Gee, am I glad you finally lighted Miss Wesley's apartment. I've been calling you all over town.
What's the matter, Shorty?
I got some news for you.
What is it?
Gus Johnson's in town. He's in the hospital with a broken leg.
You sure?
Yeah. His girlfriend, Blondie White, just told me all about it.
A broken leg, huh?
Yep.
How'd he break it?
I don't know, Blackie. Even Miss White didn't know that.
Thanks, Shorty. I think I'll go see him. But tell me, do you know anything about Gus? Anything I ought to know to make him start talking?
No, Blackie, I don't. He hasn't been with Barnes very long, though.
Oh, new member of the gang, huh?
Uh-huh.
Well, what did he do before he joined Bonds?
Oh, a little bit of everything, I guess. Blondie White told me he did a lot of crazy things.
What, for instance?
Well, he was an auto racer, a circus daredevil, a stunt pilot, a seaman, steeplejack.
And that's enough, Shorty. That's more than enough. You don't mind coming to the hospital with me, do you, Mary?
Are you kidding, Blackie? I'm a nurse, remember?
But I'm not a patient. Don't forget that. Oh, nurse.
Yes?
I mean the nurse behind that desk.
You.
Oh, nurse.
Yes?
We'd like to see Gus Johnson. Visitors allowed?
Oh, yes. Mr. Johnson is resting quite comfortably. He hasn't had a visitor since 3 o'clock. It's 4 now. I suppose you can go right in.
Thanks. Which room is he in?
Oh, that one right there, 711.
Thank you. Come on, Mary.
I'm right with you.
Here's Johnson's room.
Yes, 711. Sure is a lucky number. Too bad he didn't have it before his leg was broken.
Yeah.
Well, what's the matter? Doesn't he answer?
No,
Darling, maybe he's asleep.
he might be. But it'll be all right if we go in, or the nurse wouldn't have said so. Come on.
Oh, yes, he's sleeping all right. Seemed just like a baby.
That baby has a record of 11 arrests and 3 convictions.
Oh.
Well, let's wake him up. Hey, Johnson.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Johnson.
Johnson, we...
Blackie, isn't he going to wake up?
No, Mary. Not now or ever. He's got a knife in his heart. Get the nurse quick.
Oh, yes, all right.
Nurse? Nurse? Can you come here and quickly? What's the matter?
It's your patient, Mr. Johnson.
Oh, what's the matter with him?
Nothing except that he has a knife in his heart.
But how did that...
Nurse, you said Mr. Johnson had a visitor about an hour ago. Who was that?
Well, I don't know. I didn't pay much attention. But please, I've got to call a doctor and get the police.
In just a minute. Was the visitor a man?
Well, yes, but I can't remember what he looked like. Look, Mr. Johnson wasn't a sick man. He could have all the visitors he wanted. I just didn't pay any attention to anyone who came to see him.
Or did anyone else come to see him?
Well, yes, a girl this morning.
What'd she look like?
Well, she was blonde. That's all I remember, just blonde.
Oh, that must have been his girlfriend, Blondie White.
How'd you know about her, Blackie?
Shorty told me about her this morning. She told him she'd been here. Thanks, nurse. You can call the police now. Come on, Mary.
Sure thing.
Wait, aren't you going to stay? The police are going...
Will want to see me? Just tell them the name was Blackie. They'll know where to find me.
Where?
At Blondie White's. She doesn't know it yet, but she's got something awfully important to tell me. I hope hope you don't mind my coming to see you so soon after Gus's death, Miss White.
No, Blackie. Why should I mind?
Well, maybe you'll have reason to when you find out why I'm here.
I didn't kill Gus, if that's what you're leading up to.
No, I don't think you did. But I think you know who did.
I don't know a thing.
Now, look. You saw Gus this morning. He probably told you a lot of things, maybe even who was coming to see him later in the day.
You look, Blackie. Gus is dead, and that's trouble enough for me for one day. I'm not going to shoot my mouth off and get a dose of the same thing Gus got.
But you do know who came to see Gus this afternoon.
I said I wasn't talking.
You don't have to be afraid of me, Miss White.
I'm not scared of you. You didn't kill Gus.
You're afraid of the man who did.
Look, when you know something that isn't healthy to talk about, you don't talk about it.
I understand that. But do you know what you're doing by keeping quiet? You're protecting the man who killed Gus.
No, I'm not. I'm just protecting myself.
Well, I'll fix it so you won't need protection. Will you talk then?
I don't know.
Look, I'll make a bargain with you. If I promise to send Johnny Barnes to the chair for killing Bradley, will you tell me who killed Gus?
Sure.
Thanks, Miss White.
What?
I wonder if a mistake was made there, at least by the, Miss White. Dick Kollmar, Boston-Blackie, June 11th, 1946. The conclusion, along with the start of a new Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, follows these words on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Boston-Blackie and the Disappearing Plane, June 11th, 1946.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for what?
In the one word sure, you told me who killed Gus. It was Barnes.
You don't know that.
Oh, yes, I do, Miss White. You promised to tell me who killed Gus if I sent Barnes to the chair for killing Bradley. That means he couldn't scare you anymore. Stick by me, and I'll get him for sticking a knife into your boyfriend, too.
Look, Barnes, you're in a police station, not a laugh movie. So take that smirk off your face.
I'm sorry, Inspector Faraday, but I can't help it. You and Blackie are both wasting your time keeping me here.
Let us worry about that,
Well,
Barnes.
sure, Blackie. I'm not worried about anything. I've just been too smart for you.
Yeah, you've been smart, Barnes, but not smart enough. I know exactly what happened to that missing plane now, and Wyatt had only one passenger on it.
Now, aren't you clever, Inspector?
No, I'm not clever, just thorough.
You know how Barnes got rid of the other passengers on the missing plane, Faraday?
Sure I do. It was just as you said, Blackie. He had his pal Gus Johnson go to the airlines, dressed as a policeman, and get a passenger list. Then Johnson and his pal Joe called up all the passengers, pretended to be airline ticket agents, and canceled their reservations.
Which is what they did to me, too, only Gus Johnson used my reservation.
Sure, Johnson used it. He used it so he could get rid of that plane.
This is all very interesting, gentlemen, but none of it concerns me.
No?
Now,
We'll
why
see.
should I want to steal a plane? Why should I have Johnson go to all the trouble of canceling 20 plane reservations?
Well, that's easy, Barnes. You didn't want Johnson to go to the trouble of having to kill 20 passengers. The 3 members of the crew were trouble enough.
Well, if it was trouble, it was Johnson's trouble, not mine. I just don't see any connection between the missing plane and me.
Well, I do. Your pal Johnson knew Blackie had mailed that murder gun to me. A gun which would prove you killed Bradley. A gun which would send you to the chair.
Oh, really? What happened to that gun, Black?
You don't know what happened to it, Barnes. It went down with that plane Johnson stole.
Oh, did it? What a shame. Well, I guess you don't want me for anything more, do you?
I want plenty with you, Barnes. I know you killed Bradley. I know you engineered the theft of that plane and the murder of its crew. I know you killed Gus Johnson.
Then why don't you arrest me?
Because I want to do more than that. I want to send you to the chair. And I need the murder gun to do it. If it's your gun, then I've got you.
Yes, but before you get me, you'll have to get that gun. Huh. Gentlemen, I think I'll be going.
Just a minute, Barnes. Faraday, you'll be able to convict Barnes if you have his gun?
Sure I can, you know that. But how can I get it now?
What's, this gun look like, Faraday?
It looks like a gun. What should it look like? Your gun, probably.
Because I just took it out of my pocket? Oh, no. It's Barnes' gun. The gun I stole from Gus Johnson. And I figured the best place to keep it was with me.
That's my gun? No, you put my gun in the mail.
Oh, no, I put my gun in the mail. I knew I was being shadowed, so I wrapped up my gun, sealed, and mailed it for his benefit. I figured it was a way to take him off my trail. I didn't know Barnes here would try to get it even after it was in the mail.
Give me that gun. Let me see it.
Yeah, it's Barnes' gun, all right. And I think ballistics tests will show it was the gun that killed Bradley.
Blackie, one of these days...
Sit where you are, Barnes. Get used to sitting in a chair. Only the next one isn't going to be so comfortable.
Where are we driving, Blackie?
Out in the country to see Blondie White. You mind?
No, I should say not. She helped you solve a murder case.
She did more than help me, Mary. She was all the proof I needed that Barnes killed Gus Johnson. She kept her promise to tell me who killed Gus as soon as I proved Barnes killed Bradley.
How did she know Barnes killed Gus?
Well, Gus told her Barnes was coming to see him at 3 o'clock. A medical examination showed Gus was killed at about that time, and he hadn't had any other afternoon visitors besides us.
Oh, I know why Gus was killed. Because he knew too much.
He not only knew too much, Mary, he did it all himself.
Now, wait a minute. You mean he actually stole that plane?
Yes, he took my place on the plane. Then when the ship was in the air, he killed the hostess. Then he went to the cockpit and killed the pilot and co-pilot.
And bailed out before the ship crashed? Oh, that was how he broke his leg, huh? Golly, what a chance he took.
No, he didn't take any chance at all, Mary. I found out from Shorty, Gus had once been a stunt flyer. After he killed the crew, he took over the plane himself.
And landed it. I see.
No, you're wrong again. He headed it out toward the ocean. Just inside of the coast, he set the plane on automatic pilot, and then he bailed out.
For goodness sake. And now that plane is somewhere at the bottom of the ocean.
Yes, Mary. And even though something very clever went on up in the air, we figured it, because we kept our feet on the ground.
June 11th, 1946, Boston-Blackie on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
Now on Classic Radio Theater, we start a brand new Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, The Laughing Matter. This episode was originally broadcast on June 11th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
Ed Renser, Johnny, Union States Casualty Company?
Oh, hi, Ed. I heard you were trying to reach me.
Yes, indeed. Plane leaves in 2 hours.
For where?
Ensenada. It's a port on the west coast of Mexico, south...
Yeah, I know, Ed. I know. I've been there. But
Now,
what do you...
Charlie Burton is down there, Johnny. You know, the big nightclub TV comic. You know, good old, lovable, boyish Charlie?
I've seen his show.
Who hasn't? Really keeps you screaming, doesn't he?
Oh, he is a killer.
Eesh.
So what do I do? Go out there and scream it up for him?
You go out there and keep him alive. Someone's threatened to murder him.
One of his audience, maybe?
No, wait, Johnny, this is no laughing matter. Anything happens to Charlie Burton, I cut my throat.
Hey, you really do like his show.
We're carrying $500,000 worth of insurance on that boy.
Tonight, and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. From Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Home Office, Union States Casualty Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Laughing Matter. Item 1, $221.50. Transportation by scheduled airline to San Diego, incidentals there, and charter plane for a flight 80 miles south into Mexico. To Ensenada. Item 2, $1.90. Taxi from the plowed ground airstrip to the Carrara marble foyer of the plush Balboa Beach Hotel. The contrast was typical. Ensenada is 2 towns, really. The tourist town is a glittering belt of pseudo-swank resorts around the south end of the bay. Bald-headed men in flowery sports shirts and fat women in shorts, loaded down with cameras, souvenirs, and U.S. dollars. The loafing town. And next to it, the rows of warehouses and docks, the fishing fleets and freezer plants, narrow dirt streets and slums. Soft-eyed Mexicans and the gentle liquid sound of Spanish. Native town, the working town. 2 different ways of life, and no bridge of understanding between. The executive producer of the Charlie Burton Show, a man named Frank Maltz, was in my room 5 minutes after I checked in.
Glad to know you, Mr. Dollar.
He was probably in his middle 40s, but looked older, haggard, pressured, a little battered around the edges. He might not have his ulcer yet, but he was sure working on one.
Didn't waste much time getting here.
Well, that phone call of yours got them pretty upset back there in Hartford.
I meant for it,
So
too.
I gathered. Have you called in the local authorities, Mr. Maltz?
No,
Why not?
it wouldn't have done any good. Charlie'd have blown his top and had him thrown out.
Good old lovable Charlie?
Yes.
He doesn't know you phoned Hartford.
No, he'd have stopped me if he'd known.
Why? Does he want to die?
Oh, he says he's had murder threats before, crank letters. He wouldn't take it serious.
But you do, is that it?
I didn't figure it was up to me to decide.
As I understand it, Mr. Maltz, there was a note of some kind slipped under Burton's door.
That's right.
Well, tell me about it, will you?
All right, yesterday evening, after we came back from shooting some scenes around the bay, we went to our room, shower, clean up for dinner. When Charlie started to leave his room, he saw the note.
Where is his room?
4th one down on the terrace to the left. All our rooms open onto this same terrace.
Do you still have that note?
No. Charlie tore it up after he read it.
Did he show it to anybody?
Yes, to me. It was on stationery from the hotel here. It was in pencil and crudely printed.
Remember the wording?
Oh, yes. It said, "Only the gods are immortal, Burton. As you'll soon find out, you'll never leave Ensenada alive."
Kind of an odd way of putting it.
I thought so myself.
Know anyone who might use that style of phrasing?
No, I'm afraid not.
All right. What else, Mr. Maltz?
Nothing else. Those are the facts.
Anything happened since the note?
Not as far as I know.
Burton could be right, of course. The whole thing may be a hoax.
Yeah, maybe, but that's for you to decide, not me.
Who do you know who might think they had a reason to kill him?
Aha. I think I'll let you form your own conclusions on that.
No, thanks, Mr. Maltz. That's very thoughtful of you.
All right, I'm sorry. I realize I haven't given you much to go on.
Practically nothing.
I can't help it, Dollar. That's all I know about it.
I see.
Well, talk to the others. See what they know about it.
Others?
Well, I was thinking mainly of Gloria Dale and Al Schreiber. And there's Charlie himself, of course.
Suppose you brief me on those other two.
All right. Gloria Dale's the feminine lead.
Oh, yeah, I've seen her on TV.
Yeah, probably. She's been with the show for 3 years. She's in her late 20s. She's single. She's gorgeous. She has a terrific sense of comedy.
How does she get along with old, lovable Charlie?
Good question. Maybe she can give you an answer to it.
All right, I'll ask her. And who was that other one you mentioned?
Al Schreiber? Yeah, he's a young newcomer. He's been with the show 6 months now. A real talent, if he were ever given a chance to show it.
Why isn't he given a chance?
Because on the Charlie Burton show, my friend, there is one and only one star, namely...
Good old, lovable, boyish Charlie Burton.
Oh, you've been reading the press release.
Well, as a matter of fact, I have. All right, who else?
No, that's all. At least all that mattered. The camera crew, the technicians who were sent up from Churubusco in Mexico City, they never heard of Charlie Burton before. And we haven't had much of any contact with anyone here in town. Now, I think that note was written by somebody right here in the family. That's another reason I sent for you instead of the local police.
Just why did you send for me, Mr. Maltz?
What do you mean?
How do you feel about Charlie Burton?
Haven't you guessed?
More or less, I think.
Well, I'll spell it right out for you, Mr. Dollar. I hate his guts.
And what do you care whether he's murdered or not?
Care, I'd get roaring drunk to celebrate it.
And yet you're the one who phoned an SOS to Hartford.
Well, sure. If Burton does get it, I want an expert around. Somebody will tag the right party for the crime.
A matter of justice. Is that it?
Why not?
Oh, because it's usually just a word people talk about. What they really want is to win. Is that what you want, Mr. Maltz?
Very funny. You ought to go on television.
No, I'm waiting till they perfect it.
I feel the same way about murder.
So the legend of lovable Charlie was starting to crack. One person at least didn't love him, Frank Maltz, his executive producer. And there was something else besides hate in Frank Maltz's eyes, a weariness or bitterness, something I couldn't quite place. I filed the thought for the moment, took time to shower and change, and went looking for another pair of eyes, a prettier pair. And I found them, alone on the terrace with their owner. They were turned toward the west, toward the last golden edge of the sun as it sank into the Pacific. They were big and blue, and very lovely.
Hello there.
How are you, Miss Dale?
Miss...
I'm Johnny Dollar. I just got in from Hartford, and I've been talking with Frank Maltz.
Oh, you must be with the advertising sponsor.
No, I'm an insurance investigator.
Huh?
Yes, I'm here in regard to that threatening note that Mr. Burton received.
Oh, that.
You've heard about it, then?
Oh, we all heard about it. Interminably.
From Burton, you mean?
Who else? Oh, he paced and posed and beat his breast. He wept and stormed and shouted at us. Harangued, accused, and monologued us. Our base ingratitude after all he'd done for us. Done to us, he should have said. That one of us, a viper in his bosom, should stoop to such a practical joke on good old luck. If it was a practical joke, what are you doing down here?
You think it was a joke, Miss Dale?
I don't, but Charlie himself said... Do you mean somebody really meant that threat?
Maybe.
Well, what do you know?
Any idea as to who might have written it?
Sure. Anybody who knows him.
Is he that bad, actually?
Mr. Dollar, you've heard the expression, horrid old man.
Yeah.
Well, if Charlie Burton worked for years to improve himself, I mean, really tried, eventually he might lift himself up high enough to be a horrid old man.
Well, if it's like that, why do you stick around?
Why do I? Because I signed a contract last year during an emotional crisis. And it's got 2 more years to run.
Break it. Breathe a little clean air for a change.
I'd be dead professionally, and that's about all I've got in life now. Professional career, such as it is.
Same thing apply to Frank Maltz?
Yep, contract. Executive producer is just a title. The Charlie Burton Show is owned by Charlie Burton, lock, stock, barrel, and the souls of the employees.
Something of a dictator, huh?
Egomaniac. He's a pre-adolescent paranoid with the ethics of a rattlesnake and the jealous instincts of a Turkish harem master. Oh, forgive me, Mr. Dollar. I had that line in a play once, but it still fits him.
Tell me the truth, Miss Dale. Did you write that note?
I'm a female comic, Mr. Dollar.
So?
So who can write?
Gloria.
Out here, Al, on the terrace. Al Schreiber, have you met him yet?
No, but I've got him on the list.
That may turn out to be quite a list before you're through.
Downstairs bar at 7, honey. That's what you said. Downstairs bar at 7.
Yeah, I know. I'm going in and change right now. Al, this is Johnny Dollar, Al Schreiber.
Hello, Al. How are you? Glad to see you.
Mr. Dollar's an insurance investigator. He's here about that murder threat Charlie got.
You mean that note was for real?
Could be.
Well, happy days. Baby, there's hope for us yet.
Careful, Al. Mr. Dollar's making a list.
Sweetie, I'd be proud to confess. Only I didn't think of the idea, and besides, I'm a coward.
Did either of you actually see that note?
No, but we heard about it.
So I understand.
How does insurance figure in this? You mean some company actually wrote a policy on that earthworm?
To the tune of $500,000.
Holy Hannah, who's he worth that much to?
His sponsor, the advertising client. I doubt if it's personal, really. They're just protecting their investment in the show.
$500,000 fish. For a phony old fake who weighs in at a fast 30 cents. Say, maybe they're out to kill him and make a profit for themselves.
Yeah, I'll put them on the list. And I take it you're in the club, too, Al.
Club?
At least you're not wearing a Love Charlie Burton button.
Oh, sir. All I am, ever was, or hope to be in any future life. All I have, ever had, or expect to have at any time, notwithstanding. The foregoing to supersede any previous statement, and irregardless of any utterance made hereafter. I owe in its entirety, and without any reservation whatsoever, to my one and only benefactor. That sterling, magnanimous, warm-hearted, genial. I'll bet you think I'm only saying that because it's in my contract.
Did you write the note, Al?
I don't know what to say until I check with my writers.
Yeah. I have the same problem with my underwriters.
Say, that's not bad, Mr. Dollar. You know, you ought to try television.
I'm waiting till they perfect it. Item 3, 80 cents, one drink. I had it sent from the bar and sat on the terrace alone and drank it. I watched the sun die in the west and let the soft night creep out of the hills of Mexico and sink down over me in gentle folds. Then I saw a man slip from the shadowed shrubbery and move cautiously up the terrace, a pale ghost dressed in the white cotton of a peon worker. As I came quietly to my feet, a girl ran from inside somewhere, clung to him, and stopped him. They argued fiercely for a moment and guarded Spanish. Then the man turned and saw me and vanished into the darkness of the hotel gardens. The girl faced me for an instant, with eyes like frightened doves. Then she, too, turned and fled. But I'd recognize her. She was the hotel maid who'd brought ice to my room when I first arrived. So it was a lover's meeting, most likely. And yet, the man, before she stopped him, had been heading across the terrace toward Charlie Burton's room.
Now, here's our star to tell you about tomorrow's intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, the great man condescends and shivers a little, too. And a girl's hidden hate is blacker than the sea-wet rock she vents it on. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by Les Crutchfield, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
And from June 11th, 1956, yours truly, Johnny Dollar, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Please thank this radio station and support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. Also, if you miss a day, you don't have to miss a show. You can find our shows on Spotify, Spreaker, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Amazon, just by searching for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Or even easier, go to my webpage, classicradio.stream. There you can stream our shows on demand, learn more about classic radio collecting, and you can contact me there as well, classicradio.stream. Tell all your friends that great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, right here on your favorite radio station.